What is up? Ethan back today for another classic rock album review. I got two really good ones today. I'm excited about these. Both these are legendary albums. Not even really arguable if you love classic rock and heavy metal music, which I do. Both are the second album from each band. I didn't actually plan that, but it came out that way. Both released 1976. Both the second album, like I said, both British bands, although one band is considered a British-American band, half and half, because some of the members were American, some were British. So yeah, let's go ahead and unveil the albums. The first one is Rainbow Rising. This, of course, is the British-American band that I was referring to, released May 17th, 1976 in Munich, Germany. It was recorded. This is, of course, Ritchie Blackmore after he left Deep Purple and formed a band with the legendary, although he was kind of an unknown at the time, Ronnie James Dio, who came from Elf. 1976, this is a tour de force of an album. Kind of a power metal, precursor to power metal, or proto-power metal, if you want to call it. Phenomenal tracks on here. You got Tarot Woman, Run with the Wolf, Starstruck, Do You Close Your Eyes, Stargazer, great song, and then A Light in the Black. Those two closing tracks are the only tracks on side two, and they're both really long, but they're phenomenal. You got in the band, of course, Ritchie Blackmore, like I mentioned, on guitar, Dio on vocals, Ronnie James Dio, Jimmy Bain on bass, Cozy Powell on drums and percussion, and Tony Carey on the keys. So kind of like with Deep Purple, they had a keyboard player. Although this is not a keyboard heavy album, it's more of a guitar and drum heavy album. Very heavy album for 1976. Really kind of a influential album to metal in the 80s, I would say. Power metal is even the genre. I'm looking on Wikipedia, hard rock and heavy metal. Not a long album, six tracks, but each track is just no filler, all killer. Just it pummels you, and then it's over. It's done. No ballads, no slow tracks. Just a great hard rocking album. It's a great album to work out to exercise to, anything like that. This is a great album for that. And look at that album cover. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And then you got a picture of the guys inside. That is super cool. Look at that. You got a shot of them on the back, a live shot. I love live shots, all of them. Just a phenomenal album cover. Yeah, so glad to get this on vinyl. That's one of the albums, though. Who are they going up against? Well, they're going up against another legendary album, and it is Judas Priest with Sad Wings of Destiny. And look at that album cover. You got the kind of bending down, sort of archangel looking thing. Got the inside. Don't have this on vinyl, have it on CD. I like CDs just as much as vinyls. It really just depends. CDs don't take up as much space, so they have that going for them. Vinyls are a little cooler, but CDs are easier to put on your shelf and move around and whatnot. So I'm starting to kind of like CDs just as much, just for convenience sake. But yeah, Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. This is their second album, and it is phenomenal. Released March 23rd of 1976, so early that year. So they recorded it in late 75, so they were really, after their first album, Rock-A-Rolla, they just took off after that with this one. This is a huge step up and just a landmark in the heavy metal and hard rock genre. You got two guitarists here, of course, Glenn Tipton and K.K. Downing. Rob Halford, of course, on vocals, phenomenal singer. And he might not ever sound better than he does on this album. Excuse me. High, he has that falsetto singing style. And even something I noticed when listening to this album, it reminds me of Merciful Fate, King Diamond. They were undoubtedly hugely influenced by this album. And it's apparent in the way he's singing, Rob Halford. King Diamond, I could tell, kind of took that framework and ran with it for like 1983's Melissa and Don't Break the Oath, I think. I don't have those, but I know of them. But yeah, 1976, Sad Wings of Destiny. You got Rob Halford vocals, K.K. Downing guitars, Glenn Tipton guitars, Ian Hill on bass, and Alan Moore on drums. The tracks are just the phenomenal opening track, Victim of Changes. That is a 10 out of 10, arguably top 5, if not probably the greatest song they ever wrote, in my opinion. I love Victim of Changes. That is a phenomenal song, Victim of Changes by Judas Priest. The next song, The Ripper, kind of a short, punkier, fast-paced song. Dreamer Deceiver. Wow, that is a beautiful song. That is a great song. And then Deceiver, which is kind of the hard-charging second half of Dreamer Deceiver. Right there, side 1, you have 4 just phenomenal tracks. I mean, hard to beat, starting an album that way. Then you have Prelude, which is kind of a half song in a sense. And then you have Tyrant, which is a phenomenal song. And then the next song, Genocide. What a great guitar lick in that. Great guitar solo. Epitaph, probably the worst song on the album. Still not bad, though, written by Tipton. The last song, Island of Domination, phenomenal. It has that midsection where it gets real heavy and plodding. Sounds very Sabbath-like. Black Sabbath, I mean. Just phenomenal album. Especially that side 1. And then I would say Island of Domination and Genocide on side 2. But don't sleep on side 2. Side 2 is really underrated. I think side 1's probably the more legendary. But side 2, man, it's really good too. I was always more familiar with side 1, but side 2 on Sad Wings of Destiny is just, well, probably not just as good, but right up there with it. I mean, they're neck and neck. But just a phenomenal album, Sad Wings. What a second album from them. Love that album cover. I know you can't see it too well in the glare, but there it is. Both these album covers. I mean, that's one reason why I picked these two, is because phenomenal album cover, check. Hugely legendary and influential to hard rock and heavy metal, check. Great singers, check. I mean, 2 of the best, Dio and Rob Halford. I mean, 2 of the best in the business, especially early on in the 70s albums. Great guitar players, Richie Blackmore, KK, and Glenn Tipton. And great rhythm sections. Don't ignore rhythm sections. I love a good rhythm section. Bass and drums are hugely important. Some of my favorite bands have great rhythm sections. Deep Purple, Grand Funk Railroad, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, ZZ Top. They all have great drummers and bass players. That is hugely important, and these bands do as well. But yeah, who am I going to pick? That's the question. I love both these albums immensely. They are, in my opinion, very good comparisons because they're second albums. They have phenomenal singers. They are hugely influential. And they're both released in 1976. So they came around the same time. And I think both these bands were really coming into their own and blossoming, so to speak, at the exact same time. Literally almost to the day, or the month even. So yeah, Rainbow Rising, Sad Wings of Destiny. Who am I going to pick? I know who I'm going to pick. I'm just trying to make it suspenseful, for effect. A lot of people would probably pick Rainbow. A lot of people would probably pick Sad Wings. It just really depends. I'd be interested to see who picks which one and why. But today I'm going to go with Sad Wings. And the main reason is Victim of Changes. I mean, that is just a monster of a song. I mean, the vocal delivery, the vocal performance is just, I don't think I've ever heard anything to match it. If you don't like real high voices, a male high voice, and that singing style, you may not like it, but I think it's phenomenal. Victim of Changes is a 10 out of 10 classic heavy metal song. Not even hard rock, heavy metal. These guys, this is probably arguably the first true heavy metal album other than Sabbath. I'll add that as a caveat. Yes, I think Sabbath are the first, but this album, it just sealed the deal for that genre. Victim of Changes, I cannot go against Victim of Changes. If an album has Victim of Changes, I have to pick that album over the other, even if it was like in a different band, you know, I would just have to pick it. The Ripper, Dreamer Deceiver is beautiful, haunting, such an underrated song. And then Prelude, Tyrant, Genocide, and Island of Domination, phenomenal. I'm going with Sad Wings of Destiny. If I had to rate the two, we'll go 95 here, and we'll go like 98 or 99 here. Near perfect to me. They duked it out. It was a good battle, close until the very end. You know, the clock was about to run out. You know, there was like 3 seconds left on the clock, but in the end, Sad Wings of Destiny kicked a walk-off field goal, and they won. So today, in this album war, I'm picking Sad Wings of Destiny. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments which one you would pick and why. Try to explain why. I tried to, but probably not that well, but I picked it because of Victim of Changes. Maybe that's a dumb reason, but it's my reason. So it is what it is. I'm picking Sad Wings. Tell me, please, in the comments which you prefer, and thank you for watching.